Now, for the longest when it comes to controllers, you've always had a difference between a PlayStation controller and an Xbox controller, mainly because the way the sticks are laid out are very different. PlayStation sticks typically have your sticks being right next to each other, whereas Xbox controllers are typically asymmetrical. So what happens when a company decides that they want to make a controller for the Xbox and PC that is catered towards people who prefer this style of controller versus this one? Well, you're in luck, because essentially Hyperkin did just that with the competitor. This right here is exactly what you think it is. It is an Xbox and PC style controller that is basically no different than a PlayStation DualSense controller. Now, there's going to be some fanboys out there that are going to be like, man, I don't like this. I like my sticks being asymmetrical. I'm someone who just doesn't care. You give me a controller, I can figure out how to make it do what it do, baby. This is what it is. But with this comes with a lot of cool kit. However, it is wired. I do wish that it was wireless, but maybe down the road, Hyperkin can get that out there. But we're talking about this right here, the competitor from Hyperkin. Shout out to them for sending this over for review. And if you want to pick it up, links will be down in the description down below. But let's go ahead and get into this and see why this should be the controller you're considering picking up if you have a wired controller and you're playing on Xbox or PC. All right, so when it comes to unboxing it, I mean, it's a very routine experience. There's not a whole lot to talk about. You get the controller, you get your usual books and stuff. You get additional thumbsticks that you can change out. So if you want a lower or higher set stick, then you can, convex, concave. And other than that, you get the cable that comes with it. And this is honestly one of the most lightweight controllers I've ever used, especially for an Xbox controller. And I'm not saying that Xbox controllers are typically heavy. I mean, honestly, all of these things are very light, but this is feather light compared to a typical Xbox One or Xbox Series controller. Now, the thing about this that really sets it apart from other controllers on the market for the Xbox is the fact that the sticks, they're right next to each other. So it may take a little getting used to if you're so used to the way the traditional Xbox style controllers are. So once you get past that, it'll be fine. What I love about this is essentially they took, and I'm wondering, I don't think there's any lawsuits or anything in place, but it's kind of crazy how literally they just took the exact DualSense layout and moved it over. I mean, of course, they got rid of the touchpad that you're so used to and gave us the Xbox button. But I like the fact that the buttons feel really good. Like they feel exactly like they do on a PlayStation controller. The D-pad, the diamond, cross D-pad is the exact same as it would be on a DualSense controller. It feels point for point the same. The sticks feel slightly looser, and that's, in my opinion, I think the looseness is due to it being Hall effect sticks. And if I didn't mention it earlier, this is a Hall effect style controller. So that, again, I always have to address this whenever I do a video on Hall effect sticks on controllers, because a lot of people have this misconception that Hall effects mean that it's not going to get any type of stick drift. Unfortunately, Hall effect sticks can still get stick drift. They just have a lower potentiality of getting that. So if you compare that to traditional potentiometer sticks, like the ones that you find on a standard controller from PlayStation or Xbox, it's a lower potentiality. Now, granted, I will say this because I do notice for a fact the industry is trying to move towards TMR sticks over Hall effects. That is the future that a lot of companies are looking to just dive fully into, because they have TMR sticks. They are less likely to get stick drift, but they have higher accuracy, up there with potentiometer sticks, but far higher than Hall effect sticks. So do keep that in mind. But yes, this is Hall effect sticks. They really feel, they feel loose compared to the traditional DualSense controller and even the standard Xbox controller. But just because they're loose doesn't mean that it doesn't work or function properly. It does. Like it's able to get everything done. I'm just so used to sticks on my controllers being a little bit tighter than what they are. But I'm not mad about it. But you do have a lot of other functions too with this. You have your share button, you've got the Xbox button, so if you're playing on PC, you can pull up the Xbox menu, or if you're playing on Xbox, you can go to your settings and everything like that, and your home screen. So that's there. You got your options and share button as well, or options and menu. And then you got the share. And then on the back, you've got paddles. These are programmable paddles. You can use them for whatever you want to. If you want to reassign other buttons, you can definitely do that. But another cool feature about these is you can actually toggle. There's a switch on the back that you can toggle, and that completely deactivates any type of actuation on the back paddles. I like using this, especially when I'm playing action games or shooters, because it allows me to keep my thumbs free, and I don't have to like try to tinker. If I need to jump or if I need to reload or swap a weapon, I can always assign it to something like this. So it personally works for me. Setting these buttons is really easy. You've got a mode selection button, so you just hold it down, press the paddle you want, and then press the button that you want to assign to it, and then it'll go from there. Now, when it comes to the triggers on this feel identical, in my opinion, to the DualSense 5 controllers. It really is super accurate. So like when you're playing a shooter, like I play a lot of Battlefield 6, I play a lot of Halo, a lot of Doom, and even Call of Duty, it feels fantastic putting these on here. Like I'm like, man, this just does it for me, right? You know, it definitely takes some getting used to. If you're used to the way the triggers are on an Xbox style controller, then it's going to feel slightly different, but nonetheless it's still highly accurate. And if you're used to a DualSense controller's triggers, then it's literally the exact same thing. Other than that, you also have headset input, which if you're using a headset that has a microphone, then you can, utilize that to talk through it. And you also have the capability of muting it. There's a mute button on here. And when you press it, you get a little vibration, and then you'll see that it turns red like so. Now, I don't really have anything negative to say about this other than the fact that I do wish that this did come in a wireless option. Maybe Hyperkin, that's something you guys can do down the road, is make a wireless variation of this. But as it is, I think it's perfectly fine. I don't find that, even though I said that the sticks do feel a little bit loose compared to a traditional DualSense or even a regular Xbox controller, that doesn't mean that in any way that the actuations on it are bad. It's just not as tight as I personally would prefer it to be. But the accuracy is still there. Like when I'm playing Battlefield, even though I'm trash at it, I'm still able to get through the game using this. If I'm playing Call of Duty, if I'm playing Halo or Doom, it works fine. What I really like about this is I play a lot of fighting games, right? So when I'm playing fighting games, typically I play it on PlayStation or PC. And if I play it on PC, then I plug in my DualSense controller because I absolutely love how the D-pad feels on the DualSense. Now, when I'm playing a fighting game and I use an Xbox controller, this just doesn't do it for me, and I miss a lot of inputs. But, considering I play a lot of S&K games like Fatal Fury, King of Fighters and such, Kazuna Encounter, which has a lot of what we would call pretzel inputs, or, quarter circle back, half circle forward, or 360 inputs and such. This actuates perfectly for me, so I don't miss any combos, especially as a Kyo Kusanagi fan and main in the KOF series, and also someone who utilizes characters like Joe Higashi and Rock Howard in Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Like, all my inputs are just absolutely perfection. So I don't have to worry about anything. And like I said, I've run this through the joypad tester. Everything just actuates perfectly fine. It's got the same response times as a DualSense, so I don't really have anything that I can say is a negative. Again, the only downside I have about this is the fact that it's not wireless. But other than that, the controller feels absolutely smooth. And I want to touch on this when it comes to the vibration in it or the rumble feature. I'm such an old school gamer. I refer to rumble features in controllers as like, the rumble pack. Or, that's how far back I go with it. Back when it first came out in 1997 with Star Fox 64 with the included rumble pack. So yes, I'm dating myself here. I'm almost 40. But the rumble functionality on this, I would say, is really good. It's in my opinion comparable to what you would get on a standard Xbox controller. So I don't really have anything I can say is like, it's a negative. Like, no, it actuates literally just the same as this. It's not going to be up there with the DualSense haptic feedback, so don't expect that level of precision on it when it comes to the vibration functionality, but it's still a very, very decent rumble. Like, it feels good whenever I turn on and turn off the microphone and it vibrates. That sounds wrong, but You guys understand what I mean. There's no diddy on that. But yes, the controller, this is really good. This is one of my favorite controllers, and you guys know I go through a lot of different controllers that I do reviews on, from official ones from PlayStation to Xbox, all the way over to ones from Turtle Beach, from SteelSeries, from Corsair and such. And even some like there's another controller I got, the one that I have right here from Phantom. This is one of my absolute favorite controllers, and I think this is actually the best way to compare it, because this is also a Hall effect stick controller. This is the closest comparison I can say, is like these are like point for point with each other. Again, this is lighter because there's nothing inside it to make it wireless, and also not the haptic feedback from the DualSense, but it feels literally the same between the two. Now, the only thing so I do have another negative that I can mention that I do wish that this had is, I wish this had hair trigger locks. And I understand if this being a one-to-one to what the traditional DualSense controller is like. The traditional DualSense doesn't have hair trigger locks. The Phantom does, but you know, it's a customized controller. And the other controller that has it will be the DualSense Edge, that Pro line controller that has the haptic feedback on it. That one has the hair trigger on it. This does not have that. So that's something for me, especially because I play a lot of shooters, that would be something I would personally prefer to have on it. Again, if they do make a wireless version, that would be some feedback I would give you guys as Hyperkin, like, hey, please include that in the next revision of this. Honestly, stick with this too. The competitor line, like, I really like this, and I think this is something you guys should continue to push out. It's that cool. But all that being said, though, I don't have anything bad to say about the controller. I think this is a perfectly serviceable controller. It feels great in the hand. Actuation is good. Maybe the sticks could be a little bit tighter than what they are. If you're wondering if control freaks fit on this, they do. You can easily pop them on, pop them off the stick. So if you're like me, you know, I use a lot of control freaks. I'm also a control freak partner, so if you want to pick some up, link will be down in the description down below. Use code Mekel Kasanova, get yourself a discount on that. Cheap plug, I had to put that in there. But yeah, control freaks do work on this, and I didn't have any issues with it whatsoever. And switching out the thumbsticks is easy. You just pop them off like so, and then you can pop them back on, and just kind of go from there. Again, I don't have anything negative to say about this controller. The wired Victrix controller for Xbox and PC. If I had to choose between that and this, I would just go with this because, one, Hall effect sticks and just the way this feels. But if you prefer the Xbox layout, then I would say, yeah, the Victrix Gambit would be the one to go with. But me personally, I just prefer this so much more over the Victrix Gambit, and honestly over a majority of Xbox controllers in general. But all that being said, this is a phenomenal controller. Let's do quick bullet points, TLDR for those of y'all who may have just skipped to this point of the video. I'll say this, phenomenal D-pad. The D-pad on this is absolutely great. So if you're playing platformers or fighting games, you won't have any missed inputs whatsoever, especially if you play a lot of 2D fighting games with pretzel inputs, specifically SNK games, or even you play Street Fighter or, you know, that type of game. 3D fighters, absolutely phenomenal. So if you're playing Tekken, wave dashing, or Korean wave dashing will be really easy to do with this. The sticks feel good, a little loose. I wish they were a little bit tighter, but they do work in the way that I want them to. I don't have any missed inputs or like false actuations with it. It just works. Again, I just wish it was a little bit tighter. The face buttons feel exactly the same as they do on a DualSense controller, so I have nothing negative to say about that. Triggers and bumpers feel great, no complaints. Being able to map the back paddles is great, and also being able to do the hair trigger to turn them on and turn them off is absolutely great too, and it's easy to slide it in and out, no diddy. But other than that, phenomenal controller, very affordable, and one that I do highly recommend. So with that being said, guys, that's a review for the Hyperkin Competitor controller. Shout out to Hyperkin for sending this over to me for review. And if you want to pick this up, links will be in the description down below, or also pinned to the YouTube video, as that's a new function. And all that being said, what do you guys think? Is this a controller you're considering picking up? Are there alternatives that you do prefer? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comment section down below, and we can get the conversation going. And other than that, that's it. That's the video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe, be blessed, have aloha, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, and ahui ho.